Welcome back to Talladega. Under caution for the second time today. Aerial coverage provided by our good friends at Goodyear. For track-tested technology, get there on Goodyear Innovation. This caution flag coming out on lap number 19. The 29 car of Scott Wimmer having contact in the wall, having a tire issue. And there are some of the shreds down there. We want to update, by the way, Dario Franchitti, who had that hard impact in the first caution, is being transported to a local hospital for further evaluation. Again, Dario Franchitti, you saw him awake and alert out of the car and put on a stretcher. He's being transported to a local hospital for further evaluation. We'll try to update you as the information becomes available. While we are under yellow, good chance to maybe talk with our in-race reporter and try to find out what's going on with some of these cars. We've seen some problems maybe with some tires. Is it tire pressure related, Andy?
Well, we'll try to catch up with Jerry Baxter and see if he can give us some insight. Hey, Jerry Baxter, Andy Petrie, you got us?
Yeah, Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Jerry, I was hearing some rumors last night of some crazy high tire pressures that some of these guys are running. Could that be factoring in with some of these failures that we've seen here in these couple of cautions that we've got?
You know, I suppose it could be. I heard a few people were running pretty high on the qualifying pressures and whatnot, but I mean, I'm running my car at minimum and run about 50 laps that way yesterday or the day before, and I didn't see any tire issues at all. So I really don't understand why they'd be doing that, but I know one thing will cause tire failures is that sheet metal hitting it.
Yeah, we've kind of speculated that maybe it's contact, but it's just kind of crazy. We've had a couple of them in a row here. Just wanted to check in and see what you thought. Thanks for helping us.
All right, 10-4.
Now, the Goodyear engineers do give these teams recommended pressures they should follow for the tires, a minimum and maximum. And, of course, they ask the teams to follow the pressures, and some of them do and do not. Now, we're not speculating that's what the issue was. We'll try to update what happened, but obviously a right front tire for Scott Wimmer, and he was in the wall. Under caution here now for the second time today at Talladega. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Under caution for the second time today here in the Aaron's 312 NASCAR Nationwide Series event. Jason Leffler is our leader. It is Leffler, Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, Greg Biffle, and David Rudiman. Now let's show you how Leffler was able to get the lead by using our draft track.
You see these guys here, they're running second and third behind Brad Keselowski in this 88 car, and they just get locked up, I mean, nose to tail, all but touching, and actually touching. And you see how when they get in that draft lock, how much speed that they can gain over it. They're going 5 miles an hour faster than Brad right here at the end of the straightaway.
Yeah, between that air, the two of them working together with the air and the bump drafting there, the help got Jason Leffler to the front. But that's a perfect example of exactly what happens and how you use the draft.
And these teams have been made aware, and as have the drivers, that there is weather in the area. The green flag waving again for Leffler in the 38 car. By the way, it's his 5th time to race here. He has never led until this race. Trying to hold on, and remember, the halfway point is lap 59. The teams are being told by virtue of weather radars from NASCAR that weather could be about a half an hour out.
See Denny Hamlin jumping up to the outside right away here. All by himself, is able to make a little ground on the 88 car, Brad Keselowski.
A little pushing and shoving back there. Not that they were going to be patient anyway, DJ, but these guys are in a hurry now, knowing that we could have some rain on the way, trying to get there. Here's Greg Biffle.
Yeah, they got hooked up pretty fast there, and actually were doing some pretty serious bump drafting down the straightaway. Denny Hamlin tried to pull out and make that move to the outside, but he got no help going with him. But he's still not in a bad spot right now. I know he's fallen back and he's lost probably 10 or 12 spots there, but if he gets the right person on his bumper, he'll be back towards the front in just a couple of laps.
Get a little help from the drafting partner, from Stephen Wallace in the 66 car.
How about DJ Kennington, this 81 car on the outside lane trying to move up? He's actually one of the boys in this mix.
Tony Stewart there in the 20 car right in front of Stephen Wallace and right to the outside of Dale Earnhardt Jr. More on Tony with Jamie.
Well, Doc, in that last round of pit stops, you know, some drivers took tires, others didn't. Tony Stewart, one of those that opted to err on the cautious side. This is what he said on the radio.
Out there, guys, we'll be fine here. I'd rather, after that tire deal we had the other day, I'd rather we ran through, make sure we don't take any chances here early.
Oh, there's not a soul down here worried about it, bud. We're just going to watch the show.
Well, find someplace comfortable then. It'll be coming.
And the reason Tony said he didn't want to take chances was in practice they blew a right front. If you remember back the last 2 races, he's blown a tire and took him out of contention. So they're erring on the cautious side right now, guys. It's paying off. He's making a charge to the front.
Jamie, that practice was the final session of practice here on Thursday afternoon when Tony Stewart had the tire issue, and Reed Sorgen was involved. The 41 car of Kyle Krisiloff had to go to a backup car, so that's made these guys a little bit gun shy.
Yeah, and you can't blame them for that. They're doing the right thing. As we see, Tony has led this outside line up to the front. We see Denny Hamlin getting back there, Mike Bliss going around on the outside. So you get a fast car like Tony has. Carl Edwards was right on his bumper, Junior was right on his, and they made the draft work perfectly to get themselves where they want to be, and that's right up front.
Yeah, we were seeing early in the race that you didn't want to be in that outside lane. But I think if you get the right cars up there, like Tony Stewart, he's got a fast car, and once you get that organized, it can really work for you up there.
Watching these guys battle up front, what about the NASCAR Nationwide Series points leader, Clint Boyer, who was involved in that first incident? His car back in the garage. Let's check in with Dave.
And we can put an addendum on it for when the day started, Doc. So that's no longer the case as they run like right now. This car has dropped to second in the championship points. Clint has jumped back in. The car has been working on the right front of that car. They thought they had it fixed, but when they dropped it back down, the clearances weren't there. The tire was going to touch that wheel well. We've already seen the problems that can cause. So they've been working hard on it, sawing, welding, and they think they've got him just about ready to re-enter the track.
When the day began, thanks Dave, when the day began, Boyer had a 9-point lead over Carl Edwards. And now Boyer back in the garage area in the 2 car being shown laps down to the leader still in the garage area. He's being shown some 14 laps behind, and that will adjust the points to there. Now he's being shown 121 points back of Edwards, with Kyle Busch just another 24 back of him.
See, Denny Hamlin still, he's probably the hardest working driver on the racetrack right now.
I just look at that, Andy. You know he's got a good race car because he's able to help these guys get to the front. And what happens there is his car is fast enough, he's able to stay with the car in front of him to give him that boost all the way. Sometimes you can just get that push down the straightaway, and then the car will jump out in front of you, and then you're just wasting time as you try to get hooked back up together. But Denny's car is fast enough to stay hooked on to the cars that he's been behind and to help them get to the front.
Mike?
Well, Doc, we've talked about the politics of the draft, and it appears some of those politics may have betrayed Denny Hamlin. You know, if you get out of line like we saw just a few laps ago, you can easily get sucked right back like an 800 horsepower vacuum cleaner. Right now, not happy at all with Jason Leffler. He thought because he's also in the Toyota camp, he might have given him some help. He didn't, and right now he might be holding a grudge. We'll pay attention to that as this race wears on.
Mike, speaking of needing some help, 22 seconds ago, the 60 car was in second spot, and now they have gone blowing by Carl Edwards. They beating the 5 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr., his good friend Tony Stewart, as they are just about, I don't think you can get a fingernail between those cars.
If he keeps bump drafting through this corner, I think he'll strain that friendship a little bit. That can cause some problems with this bump drafting through the corner.
Yeah, you have to be extremely careful, but you got 2 very experienced guys there. Tony Stewart, who has a lot of car control. He can really handle that right through there. Dale Jr. has a very fast car, and he knows what to do with it, so he's not hitting him too hard. Shannon?
Yeah, well, earlier in the race, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was battling with some overheating issues. So far, so good. The car has gotten back down to the temperature level that they're comfortable with. Now, Dale Jr. announced this week that he's adding another race to his schedule. He's actually going to race at Lowe's Motor Speedway in another one of his cars. So Dale Jr. Motorsports will field 3 cars in that race. Jimmy Johnson will be in the 5 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 83, Brad Keselowski in the 88. Quite a lineup, and guys, it will be Lance McCrew on top of the pit box for Jr. in that race.
Thank you for the update there, Shannon. Dale Earnhardt Jr. scheduling on running 8 races, now make it 9. And look at the high line again now coming back, and the draft sort of comes and goes, I guess, depending upon how much help you got here.
Yeah, you're needing help. And Denny Hamlin seems to get these people to the front, and then they leave him hanging. I can understand him getting a little bit upset. You do that as drivers, but you really just have to put it aside and forget about it.
Tony Stewart, the 20 car, the 5 of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jason Leffler, the full-time NASCAR Nationwide Series driver. How about Mike Bliss in the 1 car? Only the 4th race he has run now for James Finch, and doing a heck of a job in that 1.
That 1 car is really coming around. Like I say, qualified 2nd. That's extremely, it shows you how much strength that the team has when you can do that. And he's hanging right in there with these guys.
Yeah, I was interested to see, that James Finch has always had a good restrictor plate program. They produce very good cars. I was interested to see how Mike Bliss would handle that situation, and I thought he would handle exactly the way that he is, being able to do that, being up front. So it'll be interesting as we get down to the end of the day to see if he knows the moves to make and if he's got enough friends out there to help him get to the very front.
Here's the one car we're talking about, Mike Bliss, a car owned by James Finch. They have Hendrick Motorsports engines. They got lots of horsepower, lots of ponies under the hood there, and you got to have that to get it done at Talladega. One car being shown now in 4th position. By the way, the 2 car, Clint Boyer, who was the points leader, back on the racetrack, and they black flagged him because he entered the track improperly. He'll have to come back to pit road. Well, at Daytona, it was Tony Stewart who was showing the way. And then Kyle Busch and Dale Earnhardt Jr. was in the chase. But here at Talladega, it is Stewart and Jr. again, this time 1-2. You're watching ESPN on ABC.